Hi friends, for today we are going to be looking into some paranormal occurrences that have happened at a hotel in Winnipeg, which is a city that I live in. And this hotel harbors a legend where a woman checked in and consequently never left, with happenings such as blood dripping down from the walls and shadowy figures standing at the edge of your bed. This is one of Canada's most haunted hotels. So I've been interested in learning about haunted places within Winnipeg and Manitoba in general for years now, and I've actually known about the haunting of the Fort Garry Hotel for like 10 years because my dad actually lived in the apartment building that's adjacent to the hotel, where he was posted here in Winnipeg when I was still in high school. Now, I've never been to this hotel for myself, but I would love to go. So if you guys want to see me visit this hotel, check in for the night, and suss out what I can experience in terms of paranormal activity, just let me know. So without further ado, let's get into the hauntings of the Fort Garry Hotel. The Fort Garry Hotel was built back in 1913 by the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway as a luxury hotel for the passengers from the train station, located just a block away, would easily be able to get to once deboarded from their ride. When this hotel was first completed, it was actually the tallest building in Winnipeg, though that record now goes to 201 Portage just down the street from there. Architecturally, Hotel Fort Garry is a chateau-style hotel which is based off of 15th to 17th century French Renaissance architecture, which can be seen in the hotel's heavily adorned towers, spires, and pointed areas on the roof, and many railway hotels during this time were also built in this similar chateau-esque style, with the Fort Garry Hotel looking quite similar to the Plaza Hotel in New York City. So the Fort Garry Hotel is huge, consisting of 246 rooms for guests to stay in, and one of these rooms, room 202 to be exact, is said to be extremely haunted. But some say that death has been associated with this hotel as far back as its construction. So this hotel was one of many upscale hotels being built for this particular railway, and the president, Charles Hayes, had to travel to England to meet with the directors of the railway to talk about the massive cost of this building endeavor. So Charles set forth by ship to London with his wife, daughter, son-in-law, and his secretary, had the meeting with his directors, and then boarded another ship back home to Canada. But the thing about the ship Charles and his family were traveling on was that this was the Titanic, and Charles, his son-in-law, and his secretary did not make it out alive. Following this, during the continuing construction of the Fort Garry in the summer of 1912, a man named John Layton, who was a bricklayer's assistant, fell down the elevator shaft. And while he survived this fall, he succumbed to his injuries only a few days later. The construction company was found to have been negligent in providing a safe workplace for its employees, and some say that John's ghost is now haunting the Fort Garry Hotel in revenge against what happened to him. But the most haunted area of this hotel is that of the entire second floor, but most specifically room 202. Guests have even asked to be moved into another room due to things getting so eerie in room 202. One guest reported that while walking down the hallway toward their room, they saw a ball of green light just floating down the hallway, where it eventually stopped in front of a room and then went right through the door inside, which this person soon realized was the very room that they would be spending the night in. Inside room 202, people have reported waking up in the middle of the night and feeling as though someone is sitting on the edge of the bed, or sometimes will even see a shadowy cloaked figure looming over them at the foot of the bed. Others have even felt an invisible presence actually getting into the bed under the covers with them, while the housekeepers of the hotel have claimed to find blood stains on the carpet, which they would clean up just for the blood to mysteriously reappear later on in the same location. The carpeting had even been replaced, but the blood continued to show up. But why is room 202 so haunted? Well, there is one particular story as to why that may be, which was that during the 1920s, a newly married couple arrived at the Fort Garry Hotel to begin their stay for their honeymoon. They make their way up to room 202, and immediately the wife is hit by a headache, so she goes to lie down. Her husband offers to run to a nearby store to pick up some medication for her headache, and while he's gone, the woman ends up falling asleep. A while later, she wakes up to see that her husband is still not back yet, which strikes her as odd. And as the time continues to pass, she grows increasingly worried about where he is. That's when the woman hears a knock at the door. Standing in the hallway is a hotel employee who informs the woman that her husband has been killed in a car crash on his way to pick her up some medication. The woman closes the door and is overcome with grief. Later that night, the woman enters the closet in order to join her new husband in the afterlife and hangs herself. So this leads some people to believe that the newlywed couple, or even just the bride herself, is still checked into room 202, and that's why guests report hearing the closet door opening and closing in the night, or seeing figures at the end of the bed, because the ghost of this woman is waiting at the edge of the bed for her husband to come home to her. Then an MP from Ontario named Brenda Chamberlain made national headlines when she spoke about her experience staying at the Fort Garry for a Liberal caucus meeting. And during her stay, she claimed to have felt someone get into her bed twice while she was trying to sleep, but no one was there. Other experiences people have had include hearing watery footsteps walking out from the bathroom, the sound of hangers moving around in the closet. Others have claimed to hear sounds of crying, along with the light going on and off inside that closet. Paranormal investigators have stayed inside room 202 and have reported malfunctions with their equipment whilst being in the room. One group reported capturing audio of an unidentified voice going, "Help me." Camera batteries are said to drain in an instant. The temperature in the room will change at the drop of a hat. And even an employee who stayed inside that room for the night, not for any paranormal reason, just needing a room to rent for the night, reported the remote for the TV no longer working, with the word goodbye showing up on the TV screen, followed by the TV turning off on its own. Another employee went to bring a cot to a family staying in a room on a different floor of the Fort Garry, and since it was a bit difficult to maneuver the cot through the hotel room door, the employee asked the family to stand back on the other side of the bed just so that they were out of the way. That's when she saw a little boy lying on the bed with his feet on the pillow, but she didn't think much of it. Kids are weird. The thing she did notice, though, was that the family staying in this room were Asian, while the little boy she saw lying on the bed was blonde-haired and blue-eyed. But you know, it could have been a friend of the couple's child, a relative, an adopted child, a child from a previous marriage, who knows? And the employee didn't think much of it. 2 months later, however, this same employee was exiting the elevator on the 9th floor of the hotel, and that's when she saw the young boy once again, but this time he was sitting on the staircase. He was wearing a white shirt and gray pants, which made her think of the style of clothing someone from the 40s or 50s would wear. Before the woman had the opportunity to question the boy, he got up, walked past her, and disappeared down the hallway. When she went to follow him, she saw no trace of him. The only place he could have gone was inside one of the guest rooms, but she would have heard him if he had. But he seemingly just vanished into thin air. And if you guys aren't aware, the 2009 horror movie, The Haunting in Connecticut, was actually filmed here in Winnipeg in 2007, and the cast members were staying at the Fort Garry. Virginia Madsen, who played the mom, Sarah Campbell, in the movie, actually knew about the hotel being haunted, and before falling asleep that night, she spoke aloud to any spirits who may be listening, telling them that she has a lot of work to do here on this movie, she needs her sleep, and that if there are any entities present, could they please go and haunt some other rooms while she's here. And apparently the ghosts listened to her, and she did not experience any paranormal activity during her stay. However, the same could not be said for one of the producers on the film. I'm not sure who the producer was in particular, but Virginia said that this producer would not speak about whatever happened to him inside this Fort Garry Hotel, and that he would no longer stay there and instead checked into a less luxurious hotel down the street, which was very odd. Kyle Gallner, who plays the son Matt in the movie, said that he felt as though someone had crawled into bed next to him while he was trying to sleep, which is a commonly reported sensation. Inside some of the event rooms at the hotel, such as the Crystal Ballroom, hotel staff have reported hearing screams coming from the speakers, which was first written off as feedback coming from the speakers that just sounded like human screaming, but when inspected by the hotel security guards, it was discovered that these speakers were actually unplugged, so they should not have been making any sounds at all. Following that, in the concert hall room, unexplainable sounds have also been reported, such as that of large dresses swishing across the floor and men coughing, all when the room is empty, along with people reporting that they actually seeing people dressed to the nines like they're attending an extravagant ball from the early 1900s, when no event of the sort is taking place, and the figures eventually disappear into thin air. A more recent report claims that another security guard came upon 10 candles on the floor of the ballroom that were in the shape of a star, when that ballroom did not have any events going on in it that night and was also locked. I think even if the hotel isn't actually haunted, the idea of staying in a hotel room where a woman supposedly committed suicide is very unnerving and sad. I don't know if there's any evidence proving that this woman actually did hang herself in room 202 or if it's just a tale, but it does appear that from people's claims, activity does happen here in abundance, not just in that room, and I think it would be very interesting to stay there and see what would happen. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Winnipeg actually has a lot of supposedly haunted locations, so if you guys want me to do a series on local haunted places here in Winnipeg, let me know. I'd be down to do that. I would love to even visit some of them, COVID allowing, so we'll see what happens. But if you are new to my channel, please give this video a like and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.